Hey everyone, Coach Michelle here. So I want to talk to you about gradually transitioning into clean eating because people get overwhelmed when they switch to a healthy lifestyle. Now, some people can go all in and they need to help them, kick the habits. But for a lot of people, it needs to be gradual. And because you're looking at clean eating and you're like, oh my gosh, I've got to clean out my cabinets. I've got to, clean out my fridge and ditch everything. Well, that's not the case. And then others, they'll run out and get all these clean eating cookbooks and, go on to Pinterest and download or save all these recipes. And that can be very, very overwhelming. I'm not saying don't do that, but for a lot of people that's overwhelming because then they're like, where do I start? This is where you start. You gradually do things. All right, let's say you're a soda drinker. You drink 5, 6, 7 sodas a day, or it could be coffee or sweet tea. What you would want to do, because going cold turkey for a lot of people with that, they're going to have bad withdrawals. They're going to have the headaches. They're going to have the sugar detox. And that's going to lead them to going right back to drinking that sweet tea or those sodas because the headaches can be pretty bad. So what you want to do is, say day 1, replace one of those sodas with water. Day 2, replace 2 of those sodas with water. Or you can stretch it out even further depending on if you know how bad your caffeine withdrawals and things like that are. So start with just replacing 1. Then replace 2 of those sodas. Replace 3 of those sodas until you have completely replaced them all. And that does include diet sodas because diet sodas are not clean eating. They're nothing but chemicals and artificial sweeteners. Let's say you're a coffee drinker and you put lots of sugar and creamer in your coffee. Well, start by slowly decreasing the amount of sugar you're adding to your coffee. Then gradually decrease the creamer. Because if you go from what most people drink for coffee to black coffee, you're not going to be able to do it most likely. But if you slowly cut back, and it's the same way with sweet tea. If you, especially Southerners, if you're used to drinking that super sweet tea, gradually cut it back. And you'll get used to it not being so sweet. And then a lot of times, you're not going to want it after, a couple of weeks at all. Coffee is not bad for you. Tea is not bad for you. Green tea is better for you because there's antioxidants and things in it. It's what is added to those that makes it not so good for you. Other things, instead of using sour cream on your tacos or on top of your chili or, whatever it is you use sour cream in, switch it for some Greek yogurt or do half and half because I know sometimes Greek yogurt can be a little bit bitter. So, go half and half. Sour cream and Greek yogurt until you transition completely to Greek yogurt. It's small things like that that's going to make it sustainable for you. And also start with, say you're used to getting a candy bar. It's just a habit. Get something that's going to be the same kind of texture. Because a lot of times it's a, I can't think of the word. Let's see. It's kind of a sensory thing. That's the word. It's sensory. So if you're used to a candy bar with nuts because it's crunchy or it's whatever, try going with, say, a Kind bar that is nuts. They have a small layer of chocolate. Others don't. And use that instead. It's more healthy. It's still going to be high calories and fat because it's pretty much all nuts and a little bit of honey or something to stick it together. But it's better than that candy bar. because it's, pretty much simple ingredients. Or, do an apple with some nuts, because you're still getting that crunch. You're still getting those nuts. Have some peanut butter to dip it in, something like that. So it's kind of giving you the same texture, the same sensory feeling, things like that. So if you gradually transition, now this isn't saying please don't sit there and transition over like a 6-month period, because you're really doing yourself no good. You want it like in a smaller time frame. I'm not saying doing it all in a week or 2 weeks, but like a month or something like that. You gradually transition, and you'll find that eventually when you're clean eating, you won't even want the other stuff, or when you taste the other stuff, it's going to be like too sweet for you, or things like that. Because I know if I drank a regular soda, it's sickening sweet to me. It really is. Now my downfall is diet sodas. I am trying my hardest to cut that out, because I know it's not good for me. But if I drank a regular soda, or even some of this super sweet tea, it's like sickening sweet, because I'm not used to having that kind of sugar. So that's my little tip for you today. Just gradually transition, slowly, mix things together, and, slowly cut back so it's more sustainable. So you will stick with it, and you won't get overwhelmed with it. And then, like I've suggested before, tweak your recipes to make them cleaner. You don't have to go and change your whole menu that you're used to cooking. You can still have tacos. You can still have, chili. You can still have lasagna. You can still have all this stuff, but you can make it cleaner, and you can gradually do it, and you would never know. My granddaughter has no clue that I use, lean ground turkey in the tacos, the spaghetti sauce, the sloppy joes and things that I make for her. And she actually prefers it, because sometimes when I actually do get like some higher fat ground beef, she doesn't like it as much, because she's gotten used to lean ground turkey. So that's my tips for you today. Just gradually transition. That way you'll stick with it, and you're making it a lifelong lifestyle. It's not a diet. It's not a fad. It's not something you're just going to do for a little bit and then go back to, the old ways of bad eating. You want to make it a lifestyle. So that's my tips for you today. Have a great weekend.